Hi, we're Nia and Marianne from Seren Health Coaching. We are metabolic health coaches who are passionate about good metabolic health for everyone. We also love to chat about all things health and to share as much information as we can with people who want to make changes to their lifestyle but aren't quite sure where to start. We're going to release a new episode every Friday where we talk about a different aspect of health. So do subscribe and let us know what you think. We'd also love to know what you're interested in too. So if there's something that you'd like us to have a chat about, do send us a message and we'll do our best to cover it soon.
Hi, Nia.
Hello, Marianne. Are we back on smartphones again?
Yeah, we talked about smartphones last week and the little problems that
They
I thought I
create?
was the only one having, but probably am not.
No.
Um, and today we're going to talk more about the beginnings of solutions. I basically, smartphones have robbed me, I think, of some of my brain function. I mean, that's quite
Mm,
a big thing to say, but that's
that
what it
is.
feels
Yeah.
like. And so in terms of focus and concentration,
Yeah.
and not to mention the acres of time that I've lost. I sort of almost feel
Yeah.
like I could have got a PhD by now if I just hadn't got a smartphone. And
Isn't
that's
that terrible?
isn't that a rather awful thought? I mean, it's probably not true, but
But even if we added up all of that wasted time, what
yes,
could we have done with it? I mean, I don't want to be all work about it, but how productive could we have been? But
yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
necessarily mean that you could have been productive in a I'm going to make
No,
£1 million way, but how much more
yes,
connection could you have had
yes,
with humans
yes.
and, oh,
Yeah, even
scary.
just small things like having a meal and talking, or a family holiday where you actually all put your phones aside. We've always
Yeah.
tried, but it's definitely an uphill battle.
Mm.
Um, I did consider some seriously sort of big things to do and really easy things like, well, just buy a simple phone, get rid of smartphone altogether, and then
Yeah.
I'd have to use my laptop.
The trouble is, what you can just access it another way. It doesn't have
Yes,
to be your
exactly. And I
smartphone.
did take off some social media platforms off my phone, but it
Mm.
didn't deter me because I just go through the browser. So
Yeah.
actually, it's just another click. Anyway, let's not talk about my useless ideas of trying
Well,
to stem
look,
this.
no idea is useless. You at least thought
It
about
didn't
it.
work for me.
It's just it didn't work for
No.
you. Might work for
Didn't
someone
work for
else.
me, and the other thought was that I actually buy a lockbox, and you can buy lock
I
boxes, and you
remember
have
when you were
to
going through this phase, it was
yeah, yeah,
hilarious.
and you can put a time thing on them, so you basically put your phone in, and you can't get them out without a hammer before
Yeah,
the time. Well, then I thought I'll be hammering because I'll see there's a WhatsApp thing, and it'll be from, I don't know, somebody I already need. I just knew this lockbox
that
wasn't
wasn't going
gonna
to work.
work for me.
Yeah.
So, we need smartphones in our lives. Everybody knows all the pluses. But not only that, they incredible cameras. We connect
Yeah.
with family and friends. I send you photos of walking through the when I'm walking
Yeah.
through the woods.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good when you're having a really grumpy day. I mean, there's a million good things
There really are. There are great
about
things.
digital technology. Okay,
Yeah.
so
And if
we've
we
got
didn't have WhatsApp, I
yeah.
couldn't send you all those amazing gifts that you love so much.
Yes, the gift. Exactly. And, we have a relationship that's almost built on
On a
WhatsApp.
digital connection. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No.
Smartphones are here to stay and we use them. But what I began to realize is if those little, radical solutions are not part of this,
Yeah.
can we use exactly the same tried and tested formula we've used at Seren in terms of health coaching, and use the whole, behavior change formula
Yeah.
that's worked for other things? So what you don't want to do is leave a vacuum. You want to distract yourself, displace things. So put good things in.
Yeah. So this
So
is the positive
yeah,
approach
that.
to there's two types of behavioral change, and this is applicable to
Yeah.
anything that you choose to
Yes.
do with behavioral change. Doesn't matter what it is. So there's an approach goal where
Yeah.
you put a positive thing
Yeah.
in. So we are all about approach goals
Yeah.
rather than an
Yeah.
avoidance goal where you try and take something
Yeah.
out, because taking something
Exactly.
out is really hard. And it
Yeah.
brings up all these feelings of deprivation, of I'm
Yes.
bad,
Yes.
I've
Yes.
failed, I can't do
I'm
this.
naughty, so I can't have my phone now.
Exactly. I can't
Yes.
be trusted, therefore I'm
Yeah.
not allowed my phone.
Exactly.
All of this nonsense. So, what we need to do is find a way that you can
Yeah.
positively displace your phone use
Yeah.
for something that is more attractive to you, that will
Yeah.
make you feel good about yourself, so
Yeah.
that when you do pick up your phone, you are
Yeah.
not engulfed in shame and
Yes.
blame and
Yes.
feelings of negativity, because there are, as we said, some really good parts to our phones that we need to
Mm.
maybe keep,
Mm.
but we need to have this awareness, but also this balance in our lives where the phone is not ruling us, because we know that will have massive
Yeah.
effects on our mental health,
Exactly.
on our
Yeah.
stress levels, on our sleep patterns. And these are all parts of your overall metabolic health. So we have to remember it's not just a silo.
This is really important for me. And what I like is that I've done the research. I'm really excited about changing things. And
Yep.
I do feel really positive. There's nothing negative about this for me.
Good.
Um, and we're talking about awareness first. I've
Yeah.
acknowledged the problem. I'm aware exactly how this works now. I'm even saying this isn't all my fault, which is really helpful to me
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
saying, oh, I see how I was caught
You were
unaware.
controlled.
Johan Hari, who wrote the book Stolen Focus, which is really worth a read, by the way, he talks about magic tricks. So he talks about how the coin disappears, those sort of magic tricks.
Yeah.
Do you know they're just tricks of the brain? They're basically tricking you into not seeing something.
Yes.
Um,
Which is always
and
actually there, but you just don't
yes,
focus on it.
yes. So your brain doesn't see it. It's very weird. What he was saying is that your use of technology or digital technology, it's built on the same sort of magic stuff.
Okay. So you've got your awareness, that's step one,
Yeah,
which is brilliant. And you've
yeah,
listed your pros and cons of what you want to do. So
yeah.
how ready are you to make this change? Now, remember, there's a
Yes,
lot going on in your life,
yes,
and there's going to be some changes in your life that perhaps are going to
yeah,
affect how you
yeah,
pick up your phone.
yeah,
So we've got to start with your readiness
yeah,
now, but we need to have an
yeah.
awareness of what you're doing in the future. So are you more to the 0 or more to the 10, and how
So
ready you
I
are?
asked myself carefully. Now, I think when I tried before to use what we call willpower, that stuff,
It's not a
that doesn't
thing.
really exist,
Yeah.
I think I would have probably told you I was only on about a 5. But
Okay.
now I really want to do this. So I'm
Okay.
telling you that in terms of readiness to change, I'm on a 10.
You're in a 10. That's
I'm on
amazing.
a 10. Yeah, I'm
That's
going to do
amazing.
this. I'm going to
Okay.
do this.
And that's brilliant that you're really ready and you're really focused and you've really got an idea that this is what you want to do. But how confident are you that you can do this?
I'm always going to be less confident because otherwise, what would be the problem? I could just walk off into the
You could have done
sunset
it.
and do this.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I'm probably on about an 8 in terms of confidence. I'm
Okay.
fairly confident that I can definitely make inroads into this issue. And
Yeah.
what I'm really excited about is the rewards that'll come from that. So
So
I'm
that's really
really hooked
motivating
on
for you.
the vision that I
Mm.
will get up every morning and not touch my phone for an hour,
Yeah.
and I will use that first hour of the day because it's my best time, and I will
Yes.
do
Yeah.
some writing. But the reward for me is so big. I'm so excited about it. I can't believe I'll fail.
Okay, brilliant. So the research that you have done to get you to this point to be ready to change has both inspired you in
No,
terms of being ready and also given you a lot of confidence, not all the confidence, but
no.
enough confidence to start
Mm.
getting going on this, which is really important because from that confidence and that research that you've done, you now know
Mm.
that you've got a strategy you can put in place and that will take you to the first
Mm.
few steps you need to take. So we now need to take you to some goals. So we know what you want to do. You want to
Yeah,
have your mornings your best time to write.
yeah.
You what else do you want to do?
Right. So I thought I'd use that, a bit like the pedometer and my steps. By the way, I still look at my pedometer occasionally, and I still feel I've always been keen on putting rewards in about any change I make. I
Yeah.
still, by the way, use my hot shower to do that row in the morning. It's very weird, but it works for me. So I think I'll use the graphs on the phone, and there's some really good graphs. It'll give you a
Yep.
screen time of different colors for exactly what you're doing in that screen time,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is really useful. And the other was how many times you pick up your phone. I never knew
Yeah.
that was even there till today. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
I want to use the technology on my phone to incentivize myself to
Okay.
go with this goal. And the
Yep.
goal is really to use my phone in a more targeted way, in a way that suits me. And it's about my individual needs to use this phone.
Yep.
It's not about the phone's needs to use me. So
Yes. Yeah.
I want to turn that round. Okay.
Okay, so you're going to use the graphs on your phone to help you
Yeah.
understand your usage.
Yeah.
You want to wake up in the morning and do your writing before you pick up your phone because that's your best time of day. Any other goals that you have around your phone use?
So I want to plug my phone in to charge overnight in a different room, and I've just started doing that. I've done this before, and it's only ever
Yeah.
lasted a couple of nights because I need the torch apparently on the phone. Um,
Okay.
I live in a very, very dark place. So when you
You
get up in the
do.
night, it's like the black hole of Calcutta.
Yes,
And I
but you
think,
remember that lots of people did live in this very dark place
yes,
before you and they didn't have a
yes.
smartphone. Mm.
And there are other sources of light, funnily enough.
Yeah,
So,
amazing.
yeah. And the other thing I've bought yesterday was a real simple alarm clock. Because the other reason
Okay.
I have to sleep with my phone apparently is because I need the alarm clock on it.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
okay. So I bought myself an alarm clock. I'm going to charge my phone in a different room. That's big for me.
Yep.
Um, because the other thing is I'm a bit of an insomniac, as you know, and the temptation to pick up that phone when I'm struggling to sleep is huge.
Huge.
And
Yeah.
I con myself that it's to do with lulling myself. It's like a digital dummy, basically. That's what I'm
Mm.
using it as. So I'm trying to, if I haven't got access to that phone, it's not in the same room as me. It's much a bit like clearing your pantry and not keeping something that you
Something that you
really
can't
don't want to
tolerate.
eat.
Yeah.
I'm doing exactly. So I'm using all these same little tools.
Okay.
Um, I want to set some time aside every day after lunch. I'm quite a routine sort of person. I'm living a pretty routine life, and in many ways, it should be a really slow life.
Yeah.
But my brain's very frenetic. So, what I'm hoping is that I can have lunch every day and then again put my phone in a different room and read because I
Okay.
love reading. And I'm
Yeah.
so frustrated with myself because I have a pile of books I really want to read,
Yeah. And you're not getting
and no
time to
time
read
to
them.
read them. Yeah.
Okay. And then one of the things we discussed before was giving your phone a bedtime, wasn't it? Putting your phone
Yes.
to bed.
So my phone goes into sleep mode, and we'll talk more about that because you know
Yeah.
more about all of that.
Yeah.
One of my daughters set up sleep mode at 9 p.m. for me, but it doesn't entirely solve my problem
No.
because I get round the sleep mode, yeah, if I really
Yeah.
want to. And I
Okay.
like to check before I go to bed that no one's trying to get hold of me. We don't have a landline. Yeah, that's another little issue, but I'm not getting
Yeah.
a landline. It's too much for me. Um, okay, that's
Okay.
sort of
So
where I am in terms of goals.
great. So we've got some really clear goals there. So
Yeah.
now we've got to look at the practical options that are going to help you to succeed with these goals because it's
Yes.
all very well having lovely goals, but we actually have to know how to do them. So the first one was quite simple. You've got an alarm clock, which
Yep.
is great.
Yep.
Um, so what about all the other things? Keeping your phone in another room is definitely going to help because you can train yourself not to go into that room.
I've got
So
a
you
pile of books that I really want to read and I'm excited to read. So there's a little
so
reward.
you've got an incentive to set that time aside
Yes.
every day after
Yes.
lunch so you can read your book. Okay, great. You're going to put your phone in another room, but what
Yeah.
room are you going to go into?
I always write in the kitchen in the mornings because I've got, that big old stove that keeps my cottage
Yes.
warm. So I do write in there and I like to go downstairs and I put, get a cup of tea. It's sort of my time. It's quiet. I love all that, but I've got
Yeah.
to leave my phone charged overnight. I'm using my little study at the moment, which means it's upstairs. So hopefully I don't have access to that phone until I've done my
what you've
hour.
wanted to
And
do.
this isn't an hour of penance, this is an hour of absolute luxury and pleasure. So
Yeah,
there's no punitive aspect to
no.
this.
But because it will be all encompassing, you will not wish to go up. And to be fair, where you are in the kitchen, it's warm, you've got your tea, you've
Yeah,
got your laptop, you've
yeah,
got
I've got
access to a
everything.
toilet. There's no need, you don't need to go
No,
back upstairs.
no.
Yeah.
And the other thing I do every morning that you know, because you know about my routines, is that I walk the dog in the woods above my house. It's the
Yes.
most divine place. And for the last 3 mornings, I have stopped myself, which is what I usually do, listening to a podcast. I sometimes, if I don't feel like a podcast because my brain's so jumbled, I'll listen to my Spotify playlist. I'll answer text while I'm walking along, nearly kill myself because I trip over things. The dog's very irritated with me. I've decided that just for a walk, it's half an hour.
You don't
I'm
need to,
not.
yeah.
I take my phone because in case I fall over, it's very remote. I'll have to get a helicopter. No, I'm only teasing, but I do take my phone, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to it. So this is a part of meditation for me because
Yeah.
what I was doing this morning while I was walking was thinking about all that we're talking about today. So that processing time really
Mm.
of just free thinking. Who knew there was
Mm.
such a thing?
Well,
I
we used to do
remember
it all the
now.
time.
Yeah, I remember now. It's
Yeah.
called free thinking and just letting your brain meander. I
Yeah.
sort of felt like I've lost that. So,
Yeah. Okay.
um, okay.
So I think those are all really, really good ideas, actually,
Yeah,
because they're all very small steps. So which
yeah.
one are you going to do first? Because I think maybe the alarm clock
Right.
has already started.
So the alarm clock started. I've charging my phone in my office. I am looking at my phone on the way down in case there's been some emergency overnight, but I'm not playing on my phone. I'm only checking that WhatsApp.
Mm.
I'm going to write in the kitchen, and that's just beginning. And I've walked the dog without distraction for 3 mornings, and I have literally halved my screen time on my little graph. So
Good, good.
even in very short periods of time, I feel like I'm beginning to take some control. This is what's so
Yeah,
exciting, is
yeah.
that it feels really positive to me. But what I do realize from all the stuff we've done before is that this is just the start.
Yeah.
This won't happen overnight because a lot of those habits are quite inbuilt and you've got a
Mm.
lot of triggers there as well. So, a bit like strength training, you're going to have to exercise this muscle.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
interested in the bit where you talk about checking your phone on the way downstairs to
mm,
see if there's an emergency,
mm,
because I feel
mm,
that that
yeah.
could be quite a trigger or quite
Yes.
a pull on you, because
No, I
say for
agree.
example,
There
you're
was a
waiting.
WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Mm.
what are you going to do?
Well, interestingly, yesterday I was trying to write and focus and struggling, and the WhatsApp beep went, and it was a friend of mine whose husband is dying,
Mm,
and I thought, "Oh, I must WhatsApp her back," and I
mm,
did. And
mm,
I reckon it took me 20 minutes to get back into what I was doing. I
mm.
think it is a real issue. I don't really have a glib answer to this. I do have a feeling that if someone really wants to get hold of you, they'll ring your phone.
Yeah.
That maybe
Mm.
I don't have to look at text messages on my way because they're never going to be that urgent, are they?
No.
Um,
And actually, when you were talking about your phone being in sleep mode,
yes,
there is a thing that
there
if
is a
so
way.
obviously when you ring your phone, when you ring someone's phone, that my phone goes to sleep at 10.
Yeah,
And so if somebody calls me, it doesn't bother me. But if somebody calls me repeatedly, the
it
phone
will.
will say, actually, this person needs to get hold of you, and it will ring. So
Yeah. Okay. So
in an
that's a
emergency,
safety net for me.
yeah. And
Yeah.
interestingly, do you remember, which I know you will, nobody used to ring the landline after 9 o'clock at night. So if your
No,
phone rang after 9 o'clock,
it
you
would be
knew there was
somebody
like
who
someone had gone
wanted
to
to get hold of you.
hospital, or, it was really
Or it
important.
was my mother near who never understood time differences in
Oh.
geography. Ah,
Well, yeah, that's a bit
yeah.
more
But
tricky.
anyway,
But yeah, but generally
let's
it
not
was,
talk
yeah.
ill of her.
No,
Yeah.
generally it was, an emergency or a real important thing that somebody needed to tell you. And
Yeah.
let's face it, it's not always there's not many of those situations that happen.
No, but and it hasn't happened for 6 years.
Yeah, it hasn't
I
happened for
haven't
6
had a
years, yeah.
landline for 6 years, and
Yeah,
funnily enough, it hasn't happened. So you're absolutely right. I don't need to look at that phone on my way down the stairs. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Okay, now the other thing we have to set up for you is a little bit of accountability. So
Yes.
until you can be accountable to yourself,
Yeah.
who is going to
Yeah.
support you with this endeavor?
Right. I think what would be good for me is to screenshot my stats for you on my
Ooh,
phone, and send them to you just for fun. I mean, to be honest, you don't want to see my stats particularly, but I'm
well,
just
you
thinking
were
in
very
terms of
embarrassed with
account.
the ones you sent me the other
Yeah,
day.
but in terms of accountability, I think that would be great for me. I'll get so much reward from this process that the intrinsic motivation will soon take over. I won't
Yeah,
need to show you my stats, but I think for the first couple of weeks, it would be nice to send
to
them to you
monitor
because I'll
them.
be very excited to show you. I do
Yes.
think I'm going to do this.
I think you're going to do it. I just think that you have to give yourself the best opportunity. So what are the
Yeah,
small things that we can't do this all at once. We have to remember that this is,
no.
small chunks. So this week what are you going to do?
So this week, I'm not going to sleep with my phone, and
I'm so
I
glad to
am
hear
going to.
it.
I know I sleep with my phone. It's enough to make you really wring your hands, isn't it? I'm going to reward myself with. I'm reading a novel, which I don't
Yep.
often read. I'm rewarding myself with reading something almost frivolous because I can only read now for work because I need the
Yes.
information in this long stream because if I don't, I'm going to die before I've had all the information. So I'm going to quiet myself down after lunch
Yeah.
and read a novel. And I'm going to walk that dog without, I mean, the dog will be very excited by the fact that I'm concentrating on walking and not spending half the time stopped in the middle of the path fiddling about on my phone. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
imagine what the dog's thinking. Um, that's,
That's a
yeah.
whole other
So that's what I'm setting up. The going to bed stuff. I'm not going to
Mm,
do all this at once. So I think
no.
I'll keep that because I am on my phone until I go to sleep in many ways. I can
Yeah.
con you into the fact that I'm reading on my Kindle on my phone. You see, this is the problem.
No,
My
no, no,
phone's
no. Have you
multifunctional.
got an
So
actual Kindle?
yeah, no, I've given that
Uh,
away because I like having it all in one place. So, yeah, there will be a few stumbles along the way, but
mm,
I think this is a great start. I'm really excited. And then
mm.
maybe you'll have to do it, and I'll have to
Well, yeah, I've
do
done
it.
so. My phone goes into sleep mode, and that does
Yeah,
work really well for me because it
yeah,
goes black and white, and I'm very uninterested in looking at
okay,
social
yeah.
media with that. I put a digital well-being filter on my phone, so I'm not allowed more than a few minutes a day of social media, and then it locks me out.
So I need to work. Maybe that's for next time, but
Yeah,
maybe I need to work out some of these tech savvy things that
things.
I can
Yeah.
do.
So you can put limits. I mean, obviously you can override them, but I think if you really are
Yeah.
serious, then
It's a
you
bit
will
like
just
clearing
go,
your pantry.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm locked out for today. I make a conscious effort not to be on my phone in front of the children unless
Oh,
absolutely
yes.
necessary.
Yes.
So when I walk to school, I have
Yeah.
a watch so I don't look at my phone for the time. I,
Watch. Golly.
I
Yes.
put my phone in a different room. If I want to have some time where I'm just quiet and I'm not listening to anything and I don't want to be interrupted and I have some quiet time, I put my phone in a different room in a different part of the house
On
because
silent?
it's on buzz, but I put it on
Okay.
something soft like a cushion. So were it to vibrate, I wouldn't hear it anyway.
Okay.
And I do allow myself to go back and check it after I've had that period of time, however long it's been.
Oh,
I
yeah,
do allow
sure.
myself to go
Yeah.
back and check
You
it.
have got a landline, haven't you?
And I have got a landline. So if
Hmm.
school definitely needed
Yeah,
to get me for any
they would
particular
phone
reason,
your
they
landline.
could still
Yeah.
find me.
So
Yeah.
you don't have an excuse. I mean, I don't have a landline, so that is, another issue for me.
I think as well, the WhatsApp thing is difficult because I do like
Yes,
to be in
that's
concentrate,
yeah,
conversation with
yeah.
people. But I have noticed a lot of people now don't have the two blue ticks turned on.
No, most of my kids don't, so I can't tell if they've read it. Really maddening.
But I
Yeah,
think actually that gives you more leeway, because there is nothing more irritating than when you see that somebody has read your message and they haven't
And they
replied.
have,
Maybe they're busy, or maybe they haven't
maybe they have a
wanted to.
life.
Yeah, maybe they
Yeah.
have a life. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think, yeah, those are some of the things that I have
What
done and
about
do.
the first thing I thought of was, why don't I just turn my phone onto airplane mode?
Well, yeah,
Um,
in the woods, that would be perfect for you, because if you needed to call somebody because you'd fallen,
yeah, you could
you
still,
could.
yeah.
I think this is the thing. We live in this digital world, but we
Mm,
have to control it, not let it control us.
we have
So
to
by
use
taking all
it.
these steps
Mm,
to protect our own boundary is incredibly important. We were not built to be contactable 24/7.
this is not just me.
No.
Um,
It's a problem we've all got to a certain
yeah,
extent. We need to be more aware and more
mindful.
mindful
Yeah,
about how we
yeah,
manage it.
yeah. No, I love
And
it.
yeah, those
Okay.
are just some suggestions you can try.
Yeah, that's really great. I like the graying out suggestion because I can see that social media will be not half as attractive if it's grayed
No,
out.
funnily enough, it really isn't. I do a lot of online shopping, and I do a
Oh,
lot of
yes.
online
Yeah.
browsing. So, for
Yes.
example, last night I was looking at shoes because I have a bit of a problem. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
But I was looking and everything was in black and white, so I couldn't tell what colour the boots
Yes,
were,
that's
and that was really
very
irritating me.
unattractive.
Yeah,
Yes.
really unattractive. Don't know if I like them actually because I can't see the colour.
Okay. I'm excited.
Can we have an update in a few weeks?
Yes, and hopefully this conversation will resonate with some of our listeners. The same sort of stepped approach
Yeah.
is really does work. We know it. We've tested it many times in various ways. I don't know why I ever think I should use willpower because it never works for me and never has.
You've always got
But
to go through that like process first of making sure it really doesn't work this time.
and what I don't realize is there's so much clever stuff out there that's well designed to do what it needs to do to
Absolutely.
manipulate me.
Very
And
well
I'm
designed.
unaware of that manipulation until I am. So
Yeah.
thank you for all that. I love a bit of health coaching on a podcast. And
Well,
I don't even have to pay you, so that's
I
great.
know. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Right. Okay. I'll speak to you
Lovely.
soon.
See you next week. Bye for
Bye.
now.